Hello everybody, and welcome to another Color Computer Hardware Spotlight. Today we focus on the CoCo 3. The Color Computer 3 was the last of the Color Computer line, and Tandy had launched this in 1986. Unfortunately, if Tandy would have launched this 2 years earlier, it would have been an unstoppable juggernaut of a machine. There was two boxes released for the CoCo 3. The standard white with red box was the majority of the lifetime of the CoCo 3, and even the Canadian one had the Canadian lettering on it. The other box was this kid-friendly CoCo 3 box that was launched towards the end of the CoCo 3's life. Now, I've never seen one of these boxes here in Canada, but that doesn't mean that they do not exist. This is my spare CoCo 3. I'm using this for demonstrating today because it is a stock CoCo 3 with 128K of RAM. It is a bit yellowed and it's ugly, but it works. It's also a Canadian unit, and I'll get into that a little bit later. If you look on the back of the CoCo 3s, you can see the enhancements over the CoCo 2s. They had the RCA outs here, the composite out, and of course all the regular ports of the older CoCo 2s at the time. If you actually flip the unit over, you see that this is a Canadian unit by the both French and English markings on it. And if you go down here, you see the RGB out port for an RGB monitor. Now the RGB monitor was a little different than most RGB monitors, but I'll get into that in a different video. If we take the lid off the unit, you can see pretty much I have to pull back the keyboard because this unit was quite a bit smaller than your CoCo 1. A closer look at the motherboard reveals that all of the chips here, except for the RAM, are soldered right to the motherboard. You can see the processor, the extended ROM, the all-important graphics gimme chip here, and the PIAs, and the RAM chips. Now these white ports, I guess you could call them, or expansion slots, are for the 512K expansions, and you can still get those from Cloud9. A weird thing about this motherboard is I found this resistor sitting about an inch above the motherboard. I'm not sure if that was a mistake or what. All of the Canadian units I have seen have this screen that's glued right under the vents on the top part of the shield. It's just a nylon bug screen that's been glued in. A lot of people suggest maybe it's for RF shielding, but I think it was a Canadian law that says they had to have something in there to block kids from putting pennies in. But who knows? So let's close this thing back up here, and we'll put the lid back on and the screws back in, and we'll fire her up, and I'll show you exactly some of the other enhancements to it. It's interesting to note that one of the upgrades Tandy did to this machine was include an ASIC, or an application-specific integrated circuit, or what's similar to an FPGA today. Tandy referred to this as the gimme chip, or the Graphics Interrupt Memory Enhancement chip. It was able to do up to 80 columns of text and up to 16 colors on the screen at once. It actually replaced the SAM chip and the Video Display Generator chip, or VDG, out of the CoCo 1s and 2. You can see here that Tandy just included regular nickel-plated screws on this unit, as opposed to the black screws on the CoCo 1. Little pickiness, I suppose, in my part, but I thought it was worth mentioning. There was only one real model of the CoCo 3s available, although there was two different plants producing it, one in Korea and one in the US. At cloud9tech.com, they have an excellent article on the differences between the Koreans and the North American units. Here we're actually booting into the boot screen, and we see that both Microsoft and Microware contributed to the basics on this unit. The actual story goes, according to Wikipedia, that Microsoft at this time did not want to do enhancements to the basic, so Microware stepped in and added some bug fixes and some patches to make OS 9 run a little bit smoother. And they are loaded up after the basic is loaded into memory. I had the Dallas Quest disk in the disk drive from my video the other day on the Dallas Quest, so I want to show that on a CoCo 3. I have it hooked up here with my Amiga monitor through the RCA jacks, as I don't have an RGB cable yet for it. I have to order one from Cloud9. You can see that the colors are a little bit crisper and better here than on the standard CoCo 1. I'm not sure why the other day the colors were so off on it. So before I go, I wanted to also mention that the CoCo 3 has an Easter egg built right into it. If you power it on while holding the Control and the Alt key down, you get this picture of Mark Hopkins, Tim Harris, and Todd Earls. These are famously known as the Three Amigos, and they are responsible for the Microware basic enhancements on the CoCo 3. Well, there's so much more I could get into on the CoCo 3, but I'll keep this quite rather short. I know it's gone on long enough. So, well, that's it for this edition of the Color Computer Hardware Spotlight. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, have a good day.